Chris Jenkins for Charlotte Vibe, and today I'm going to be talking about the Carolina Panthers playoff possibilities as of today, December the 4th. And before I get into this possibilities, I'm going to say personally, as a fan, yes, I wish that the Carolina Panthers, I hope that the Carolina Panthers make it to the playoffs, but I'm still sticking to the fact that I do not feel that we are going to make it to the playoffs, and I'm going to go into why starting now. But before I get into that, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification so that as I go live, you'll be able to see those. And also there's a link below in case you like the content of the site, want to contribute or donate to our success in continuing this channel working for you fans. So Carolina Panthers, this is Monday night, just finished up the games, and Carolina Panthers actually moved up. So let me first go over the current playoff picture in the NFC. So number one, you got the LA Rams, which are actually in the playoffs. Number two, New Orleans Saints. Number three, Chicago Bears. Number four, Dallas Cowboys. Number five, Seattle Seahawks. And the change is number six, Minnesota Vikings. Now the Carolina Panthers now have moved up to that seventh spot, and behind them are the Philadelphia Eagles at eighth and the Redskins at ninth. So how do we move up into playoff position? So obviously our best chances with the Vikings currently at the 6th seed, or the Seahawks at the 5th seed getting out. Me personally, for this, I won't even say for the sake of this video, but just for what I believe, the Minnesota Vikings are our best chance to get in, because the Seahawks are already a game ahead of us, and blah, blah, blah. I'm not gonna bore you guys with a lot of tiebreaker mathematical stuff, but hopefully you'll still enjoy the video. So going with my thinking that Minnesota Vikings are our toughest choice, and we'll entertain a little bit of the Seattle Seahawks as well. But currently the Vikings have a 6-5-1 record. The Carolina Panthers have a 6-6 record, and we need to get a better record because we're behind. So here's why I don't feel like we are going to make it. And again, I hope that we do, but this is why I don't feel like we will. Number one, we've lost 4 games in a row. It's a lot of games to lose in a row. That has to take a lot of momentum out of this team when you lose 4 games in a row. At this part of the season, the second half of the season, last quarter of the season, you need to be playing your best football, and I don't feel that we are doing that now. Ron Rivera did make some changes yesterday, shaking up some of the coaching staff. I think we'll see some improvement, but I mean, playoff-wise, top teams in the NFL, I think it's gonna be hard for us to get back to it. So how do we get a better record? Let's first look at the remaining records of those teams that are ahead of us, both the Minnesota Vikings and the Seattle Seahawks. So first, let's look at the Minnesota Vikings. Let's look at the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks remaining schedule. They play the Minnesota Vikings. They play the 49ers, the Chiefs, and the Cardinals. So right now I'm talking about the Seattle Seahawks. I believe they could beat the Vikings because that's a home game, beat the 49ers, lose to the Chiefs, and beat the Cardinals. So I see them finishing 3-1 the last quarter of the season. Definitely being out of reach for the Carolina Panthers catching them. I mean, obviously we're gonna need some help to make these playoffs. Now, let's go and look at the Minnesota Vikings, which I think is the best chance team for us to come down and us to jump ahead of to make that final spot. The Vikings have a game against the Seattle Seahawks, which I just mentioned. I see the Seahawks winning that game because it is in Seattle, and we all know about the 12th man out there. It's an incredible leverage for them to use. The Miami Dolphins, I see that as a victory for the Vikings. The Detroit Lions, I see that as a victory. And the Chicago Bears, let's give them a loss. So that's 2-2 to finish out the season for the Minnesota Vikings. And I'm gonna get to why that's not enough. We need them to fall apart like the Panthers have recently in this last quarter in order for us to make it. Let's say they go 2-2. They go 2-2, they are still ahead of us. Carolina Panthers remaining schedule, Cleveland Browns. A game that at the beginning of the season we all look at as laughable. This team hadn't won any games last year. Now they got Baker Mayfield, and they're actually playing some pretty decent football, and it's a home game for them, but I'm going to give the Carolina Panthers the victory in the Cleveland Browns. You next have the New Orleans Saints. I'm not giving us the victory there. Atlanta Falcons. This one's kind of a toss-up, right? Falcons have been beating us at home. We beat them at home. So let's just give the Falcons the loss for that day. Guess what? Last week, we traveled back to New Orleans. I think unquestionably you have to count an L for playing the New Orleans Saints, which are just a phenomenal team in New Orleans. So that's giving us a 2-2 record. There you have it, folks. How can we make it? Because if the Panthers go 2-2, the Minnesota Vikings go 2-2, the Seattle Seahawks go 3-1, we cannot catch them. Again, we need the Minnesota Vikings to basically fall apart in order to make it, or we need to play exceptional, but I don't go with those things because I feel like those are the less likely things to happen. So there's my opinion. Let's have some conversation, guys. Leave your comments below with the current record, current situation, all that I just discussed. How do you feel about the Carolina Panthers' chances to make the 2018 playoffs? Chris Jenkins for Charlotte Vibe. Thanks for watching.